Today, we are talking about Durga. There are many stories of Durga, but one of the most powerful is the story of her battle with the Mahish Asura, the buffalo demon. Mahish Asura was not an ordinary enemy. He was powerful, cunning, and nearly impossible to defeat. Through intense spiritual practice, he had earned a boon, a divine protection. That made him almost invincible. No man could kill him. No God could kill him. And because of that protection, he became, arrogant. He believed himself untouchable. He believed power belonged to him. And slowly, as is often happens when power loses humility, he began to create chaos. Mahish Asura conquered the heavens. He drove out the gods. He disrupted the natural order. He used his strength not to protect life, but to dominate it. And the gods found themselves unable to defeat him. One by one, they failed. Brahma could not stop him. Vishnu could not stop him. Even Shiva could not stop him. The individual powers of the gods were not enough. And if we pause there, many of us already are starting to understand the story, because we know what it feels like when a force in life becomes too big for one part of us to handle. A crisis, a relationship dynamic, an addiction, a betrayal. We keep shape-shifting, and every strategy we try to use against it is defeated. We try reason, discipline, forgiveness. They are not enough. We try anger, silence, or we wrap the whole thing in spiritual language, and still it's not enough. The old tools fail because the one thing we are facing is not simple. It's layered, it's ancient, and it's adaptive because it changes form. That is the Mahish Asura. He is not only a brute force, he is distortion itself. He is ego intoxicated by power. He is the part of the psyche that becomes so identified with his own strength, pain, hunger, or wound that it begins to believe it has the right to rule everything. And he is called the buffalo demon for a reason. The buffalo is heavy, stubborn, earthbound, literally massive. There's kind of tamasic force there. A dull, dense, dragging energy. It is the energy of inertia, the energy that says, I will not move, I will not change, I will not yield. I will keep charging forward even if I destroy everything in my path. We know that energy. We see it in the world, and if we're honest, we see it in ourselves. The stubborn, defensive part. The part that would rather dig its hooves deeper in the mud than admit the truth. The part that keeps saying, I'm fine, while the whole kingdom is burning. So the gods gathered, and in their frustration and their fierce desire to restore balance, something extraordinary happened. Their powers began to combine. Their radiance gathered, their individual energies fused into one great light. And from that unified light, Durga emerged. Not born from one God, not belonging to one lineage of power, Durga arose from collective divine force. She was created because no single power was enough. Only unified power could meet the distortion. She appeared radiant, fierce, beautiful, and unstoppable. Each god offered her a weapon. Shiva gave her his trident. Vishnu gave her his discus. Varuna gave her his conch, and Agni gave her his spear. Vayu gave her his bow, and Indra his thunderbolt. Himalaya gave her a tiger or a lion to ride. And there she was, Durga, the great goddess, the invincible one, the warrior mother, the one who rides into battle not because she loves violence, but because she loves life too much to let chaos rule unchecked. Durga is not aggression for the sake of aggression. She is not rage without wisdom. She is protection, and she is sacred strength. She is the force that rises when enough is finally enough. She is the divine feminine in her organized, embodied, disciplined power. And then she goes to battle. Mahishasura sees her, and at first, he underestimates her. Of course he does. Distorted power often fails to recognize real power when it appears in a form it has been trained to dismiss. He does not expect a woman to be the one who ends him. He does not expect beauty to be dangerous. He does not expect grace to have teeth. And he certainly does not expect the mother to carry weapons. But Durga does, and the battle begins. Mahishasura fights her in many forms. He shifts, he charges, he transforms. He becomes a lion, an elephant, a man, and a buffalo. Again and again, he changes shape, trying to escape the force that has come to meet him. And again, if we pause, we know this too, because patterns change shape when they're threatened. The moment we begin to heal, the old pattern does not always disappear. It will negotiate, it will disguise itself, it becomes spiritual, it becomes logical, it becomes rage, it becomes helplessness, it becomes a story about why this time is different. Mahishasura shape shifts because the egoic pattern wants to survive. It does not care what form it takes. It only wants to keep ruling. Durga does not get confused here. That is her power. She sees right through the shape-shifting. She does not chase every disguise. She does not get seduced by the drama of it all. She does not abandon her center. She does not forget why she came. She rides forward, weapon after weapon, breath after breath, until finally, as Mahishasura emerges from the buffalo form, Durga strikes him down. She restores balance, and the heavens are returned. The natural order is restored, and the gods rejoice. But the deeper teaching is not simply that good defeats evil. The deeper teaching is when power becomes fragmented, distortion wins. But when power becomes unified, consciousness becomes unstoppable. Durga is the archetype of integrated strength. She is what happens when all the scattered parts of the self come together in service of truth. The mind, the body, the voice, and the heart. No part trying to do the whole job alone. That is Durga. When we work with Durga as an archetype, we are not trying to become hard. We are trying to become whole. We are asking, where has my power been scattered? Where am I asking one part of myself to do what requires my whole being? Where am I trying to think my way through something that also requires my body, my voice, and my courage? And where am I still underestimating the protective force inside me? Because Durga is protection, but she is not protection born from fear. She is protection born from love. That is the mother energy in its fierce form. Not the mother who says yes to everything, not the mother who abandons herself to keep peace, not the mother who smiles while her own life force is being drained. Durga is the mother who stands at the gate and says, no farther. Not because she hates what's outside the gate, but because she knows what is sacred within it. That is a different kind of power. In a grounded, modern, practical way, working with Durga might look like gathering your scattered energy back from all the places you've been leaking it. It might look like cleaning up your life with fierce tenderness. It might look like leaving the relationship, the job, the pattern, the room, or the conversation where your spirit keeps shrinking. It might look like organizing your support instead of pretending you can do everything alone. It might look like saying, I need help. That is Durga. She is not reactive, she is responsive. She asks us to know what is ours to face, to know what has become harmful enough that avoidance is no longer kindness. Durga meets us there, not with shame, but with a lion. She says, get on. She awakens the force inside us that remembers we were allowed to protect what is sacred. Our body is sacred. Our time is sacred. Our energy, our children, our work, our voice, all sacred. Our healing is sacred. And our future is sacred. If something keeps charging through those sacred places, knocking over the altars, tearing up the garden, calling it love, family, duty, tradition, loyalty, destiny, Durga says no. Clear, clean, unapologetic, no. Durga does not hold a committee meeting with a demon. She does not spend 3 months trying to make the Asura understand her perspective. She sees the distortion, she meets it, and she acts. There's a lesson there. And no, that does not mean we become impulsive or cruel. It means we stop using endless processing as a way to avoid clean action. She sees things do not need more analysis. Some things just need a decision. Some things need the part of you that has been waiting quietly in the corner to stand up and remember, I'm not powerless here. That's Durga. Her many arms are not a symbol of chaos, they are a symbol of capacity. She can hold many tools at once. She can meet complexity without becoming fragmented by it. And isn't that what we actually need now? We need many arms. We need wisdom and action. We need compassion and boundaries, softness and steel, rest and discipline. We need prayer and a plan. Durga holds all of it. Ask yourself, what does the story of Durga awaken in me? Where am I being asked to gather my scattered power? What shape-shifting pattern keeps convincing me to let it rule? Where am I underestimating my own protective force? And what would change if I stopped waiting for permission to protect what matters? Durga is fierce, yes, but her fierceness is not against life. It's in service of life. She does not come to punish the world. She comes to restore order. She comes and asks us to become unified. Because that demon thrives when we're divided. She reminds us that sacred power is not always quiet. Sometimes it roars. That is Durga, the warrior mother, the protector of the sacred, the radiant force that rises when fragmented power becomes one. The goddess who teaches us that when love and strength unite, something holy enters the world. A woman who remembers that this life is sacred and that it should be protected. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next section.